now we're going to be looking at making our door. You'll see here down here I have a little handle, a little door handle. We're going to talk about that in a second. But before we start our door, we know that our door is 3 feet wide by 6 feet 8 inches. And if you have any questions about that, you should go right to the floor plan, and you can see here that this door is a number 1 door. And if we go down to the window and door schedule, we can see that the number 1 door is 3 feet 0 inches wide by 6 feet 8 inches tall. It says here that it's a panel door that's solid, but for our purposes it can really be anything that we want it to be. So we're going to start off with our box again, just like we did with our windows, and we're going to do 6 inches by 3 feet. So that's going to give us our door. And I'd like something that's a little bit more contemporary for this door. We're going to pull it up 6 feet 8 inches. And I want something that's a little bit more contemporary. So I'm actually going to take the cue from our windows, and I'm going to use this method that we used already with the windows. So here again, I'm going to do an offset, but this time instead of the 2 inches, I'm going to make it more like 4. And I think I might also, the bottom here, maybe raise that up. And I'm making the area where I'm going to do the offset for the pane of glass. So now I kind of have the shape that's something a little bit realistic. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do that offset tool again. And this time I'm going to make it match what we had before, which is 1 inch. And I'm going to push this in a little bit, but first I should probably measure how wide this door is, and it is 6, so I can push it in the same as I did before, about 2.5 also, so like we did before, so 2.5. And in this case, I'm going to leave the door flush where it is. And then I'm going to run over here to the back, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the front. Except I do have to do one other thing, which is I need to measure how high I actually made that. So I didn't measure that before, which is probably not a good thing. I want to make sure I have that. So it looks like it's 1 foot 9/16. So I could do this a couple ways just to make it easier on myself. I could draw little guidelines here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this offset that I created already. And I'm going to then I'm going to erase my guidelines here. And now I'm going to do that offset. Now you don't have to do your door this way, but you know, it's in keeping with the design. You can obviously design your own door the way you want it. Now the other little piece here is a lock set that I grabbed from the warehouse, and we haven't really gotten into the warehouse too much, but I liked the way that this looked, but unfortunately the door handle is not actually going in the correct direction that I need it to. So I'm going to have to go in and edit this group a little bit and swing that door handle onto the other side. So I'm going to show you this. When you bring something into your model from the warehouse, often it can be very large, so you have to be careful with larger things that you bring in. It will start to make your model lag. Oftentimes it's because things are grouped, and there's groups within groups within groups, and I will show you an example of that just using this. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this and we're going to double click to get into edit mode. And you'll see when I do that, the key and the handle are 2 separate items within this group. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the key because I don't really need it. But I do want to rotate the handle here. So I'm going to take the rotate tool, and I've selected the handle, and I just want that to go on the other side. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag 180 degrees. And then I'm going to get in here and I'm going to move this into position. So I could either move the back plate or I could move the handle into position. And so there you go. So now, and you'll see that when you do that, the group itself moves so that you can tell where the pieces of the group are. And now I'm going to click away. Now you can see it's all together. So what I can do is actually bring this up and put it on my door. First, I'm going to have to rotate it. You can see it lined up with the green axis, and I think I'm going to put it somewhere probably about here. And now you saw what I did. I did not click the back corner, which is what I should have done. I want to lock it there, and let's make sure that that's on there properly, and it's, of course it's not, so let's try to get that onto our door. And you always sort of have to check and see that it's all working. Okay, so here's my door. This is its own group, right? So in order for me to use this again, I'm going to need to group all of this together. So this group is already selected. I'm going to hold the Shift key, which gives me that little plus sign, and then I'm going to triple click my door. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to say make group, and then of course our last thing that we need to do is make it a component, right? We want to keep it in our component window, and I'm going to call this door 1, and so that way I know where it corresponds on my floor plan. Now I'm going to just move it into place just like I did my other ones, and again that whole movement thing can get a little challenging. Now I have my door, and I can see right through it. And the other thing I don't want to forget to do is to apply this door to the windows layer. I could also do a separate door layer if I wanted to, and maybe that would be a better idea. So I think what I'm going to do is get my layer window out again, and I'm going to add a special door layer. So instead of just having windows, I'll make a door layer, and I'm going to come up here with the door selected. I'm going to click my door layer, and now if I uncheck that, my door goes away. Because the next part of this, I'm going to start to add the deck. I'm going to add the furniture on the inside, and then we're going to do materials and then how to make the roof. But for now, that's the windows and doors.